We're here today to resume our final. This case was called and recessed quite some time ago. We've had to have a few resets. We're here to resume that today. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming, and Ms. Goodman is making our record today. All right, let's go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present and ready. And Your Honor, I've got it marked that we started this on July 23rd, not the 25th. I'm not sure if I've got that date wrong.
I have the 25th as well, Judge.
Okay.
Yeah, I show the 25th.
Okay. Sorry. It was 25th. I see it now.
Kenner off on behalf of the mother, Adrian Martinez. We're both present and ready.
Vince Nowak, I'm half the father. Israel Renya, I am present. He is not, Judge.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Xerxes.
All right, then. Mr. Trout, who's your first witness today?
Jenny Blunt, Your Honor. I believe was on the stand when we recessed.
All right, then you are still under oath and you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Blunt, I think last time we got through some questions. I'm going to go back through them just to make sure we did get through all of them. Now you were supervisor on this case at removal, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the regular course of business, does the department keep records in that regular course?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. And are the entries made in the records at or about the time the events occurred?
Yes, sir.
And are those made by somebody with personal knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Do you have access to those records?
I do.
And are those filed with the courts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you stated you have reviewed all of those?
Yes, sir.
How did according to your records, how did the department become involved in this case?
Initially, we received a report in April 2022. There were some allegations that mom was living with the grandmother. They were selling their food stamps for cash. There was no food in the home. There was concern with no water, utilities, and I believe drug usage, I believe.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we did get another report, but the second one did not come until June.
Okay. June of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know what that report was about? Intake?
Yes, sir. At that time, it was reported that mom, Mrs. Martinez, and the child were at a convenience store. They were standing in front of the store, prohibiting people from getting inside. There was some concern because the child was left alone at one point, and it was alleged that Miss Martinez went back to a hotel with someone else and left her child there. Law enforcement responded, and then they called us.
Okay. Was mom arrested at that time?
Yes, sir.
And she was, so when y'all came out, she was incarcerated?
I'm not sure she was still on the scene, but yes, sir, she was arrested.
Okay. When she was arrested, did you know who, and what was mom's name? Did you
Adrian Martinez.
Okay. And did you, at that time, did y'all know who the possible father was?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all have any contact with him at that time?
We did after the child was removed. We tried several different ways to track him down. And then during the process of the investigation, we lost track of Ms. Martinez as well.
Okay. And so was exigent removal taken of Xerxes due to mom being incarcerated at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And not being able to find the father?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you know, and if you don't know, just state you don't if it's not in your record. Do you know whether mom was charged with anything?
I do not.
Okay. Was at that time, due to the situation with mom being incarcerated and not being able to get in touch with dad, was it in the best interest of the child to remove?
Yes, sir.
Did you have anywhere else that you could place or any family you could place the child with at that time?
At that time, no, sir.
So for the child's safety, it was in the best interest to remove?
Yes, sir.
After the removal, were you able to get in touch with mom?
A couple of days after the removal, yes, my worker and the worker 5 went to the jail and saw mom.
Okay. And did y'all discuss the allegations with mom and what was going to happen and that the child had been removed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And mom was still incarcerated and not in any place to be able to take her kid back.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to get in touch with dad?
Yes, sir. Eventually, we did find Dad and visit with him. He was in Muleshoe at that time.
Okay. And what were the conversations with dad?
We let him know that we had to pick the child up, that there was no place to go. We did visit with him about the history during the first investigation. Mrs. Martinez did allege that he was part of the drug cartel. There is some CVS history with both of them, so we visited Dad about that. We did ask him if he would submit to a drug test, and he said he would, but he let us know that he would be positive for methamphetamines.
So by dad's own admission, there were concerns of drug use with him at the time.
Yes, sir.
And of active drug use.
Yes, sir.
And so after that, it was still in the best interest of the child to stay in the care due to mom being in jail and dad admitting to drug use.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Naranjo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Blount, did Ms. Martinez provide any information regarding any relatives or potential placement?
She did.
And did your office make any efforts to see if any of those placements would be appropriate for the child for after the removal was done?
I do not know if my worker or St. Francis requested a home study, but she did provide an aunt.
So at least after the removal, you're not aware if your office made any efforts to find placement for the child?
It wasn't clearly documented. No, ma'am. I cannot say yes or no.
I'll pass witness.
All right, and Mr. Novak.
Thank you so much, Judge. And Mr. Blount, I just have a few questions. You said the department made contact with Mr. Renia following removal?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Was that you or was that
Yes, sir.
someone else?
It was my worker and the worker 5. We also utilized our special investigator because we were having some difficulty locating him.
Gotcha. Since that contact with Mr. Renia, have y'all had any additional contact with him?
We have not, as far as investigation goes. I can't speak to what contact St. Francis had with him.
Understood. But as far as you know, since that initial contact with Mr. Renia, what efforts have been made to locate him?
Once we passed the adversary hearing, I can't speak to that. We did try to reach out to him again. We reached out to the sister that he was staying with, and she let us know that he had moved on and she did not know where he was. He did not have a cell phone number of his own, and he was sort of transient. Even when he was with his sister, it wasn't an ongoing thing. It was sporadic.
Thank you so much, sir. Pass the witness, Judge.
Okay, and Mr. Novak, your volume is kind of low. I don't know if you can
I'll
adjust
work
it
on
up or not.
Let me work on that, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Zavala.
Mr. Blount, is it correct that when Xerxes was a baby that Ms. Martinez worked a family-based case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and was that from January to November of 2019?
The dates sound right. Yes, ma'am.
And what was the nature of that case?
The children were removed for drug issues.
Well,
I'm sorry, they were not removed. We were involved because of drug issues, and the case was sent to family based.
okay, and then that case closed in November of 2019, and then the next case opened in May of 2020?
That sounds right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Xerxes was removed at that time.
I believe he and one other sibling were. Yes, ma'am.
What was the nature of that case?
It's been a while since I read through the history, but I believe there were drug-related issues in that case.
So Ms. Martinez worked services during that case, and Xerxes came home.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then this investigation started in 22. If the removal was in 2020, do you know when Xerxes came home from that removal?
I do not know the date he came home.
Okay. So at the time of this removal, Xerxes was 4. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this is now the 3rd case that the department's worked specifically with Xerxes.
Yes, ma'am.
I pass the witness.
Mr. Trout?
Ms. Blunt, Ms. Naranjo asked you about home studies. Did your worker documented that he did put in for a kinship home study, correct?
Yes, sir.
You just don't know, the results may not have come back by the time y'all were passed the case off to St. Francis, is that correct?
They typically do not come back to investigations. They always go to St. Francis or CBS.
Okay, so to your knowledge and from what you see from the record, y'all did request it, you just don't know the outcome of it.
Correct.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Naranjo, any other questions?
No other questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Novak?
No, Judge, just checking the volume.
Still kind of low, but if you'll just speak up, we'll make do.
I rarely have the problem where people can't hear me. I'll keep my voice up. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Zavala, anything further?
Nothing further.
All right, then, counsel, is this witness free to go at this time, or anybody need to hang on to him?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, Mr. Blount, thank you so much. We appreciate your appearing today. You're free to go on about your day's activities.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, see you later.
Thank you, Jen.
All right, you can call your next witness.
Judge, I'm gonna call a little bit out of order. Mr. Gatlin's here with us. I'm gonna try to get him on and let him get on about his day if I can. Mr.
Sure.
Gatlin, would you state your name for the record, please?
Richard Gatlin.
And Mr. Gatlin, what do you do for a living?
I am a licensed professional counselor.
And is that the only license you hold, or do you hold other licenses?
That is the only license I hold.
And as a licensed counselor, what is your role? What do you do?
Well, in private practice, I'm self-employed, and I provide therapeutic services, counseling of different kinds to children, adolescents, and adults who are referred primarily from the Department of Family and Protective Services in St. Francis. I also have private referrals from insurance companies and school districts and physicians and so forth. But the most of my practice involves work with child protective services.
Okay. And so how long have you been doing this?
Well, I was initially first licensed in 1995 by the state of Oklahoma, by their board, the Board of Examiners of Professional Counselors. And then in 2001, I became licensed in the state of Texas by the Texas Board of Examiners of Professional Counselors. So almost 30 years.
Okay. And you stated most of your work is with Department of Family Services at this time?
Yes.
Okay. And have you testified in cases like this before?
Yes.
And how many times have you done that, would you say?
Well, I estimate final hearings such as this one, I estimated about 150. But overall, including all the hearings over the past nearly 30 years, I am estimating around 200 in 18 counties in Texas.
Okay. Do you do, with your license, do you yearly or every couple of years have to do CLEs and workshops to keep your license?
Yes.
Okay. And how many hours do you have to do? Is that yearly, bi-yearly? How do you do this?
Well, it's 24 hours every 2 years requirement for continuing education and training.
Your Honor, I'd ask that Mr. Gatlin be able to testify as an expert based upon his career and his knowledge in doing this.
Counsel, any objection to that?
No objection.
No objection.
All right. Mr. Gatlin, then I will qualify you as an expert in your field as a licensed professional counselor. And you may testify as to your opinions in your designated field.
Thank you, Honor. Mr. Gatlin, are you familiar with the mother in this case, Adriana Martinez?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with her?
Well, I have known her for several years, but most recently, I have worked with her multiple times in the past. Most recently, during this case, the subject of this court hearing, I worked with her beginning in 2023 through 2024.
Mr. Trout, let me interrupt real quickly. I've had a Kimberlyn Golden enter the waiting room. Anybody recognize who that is?
I don't recognize that name. Ms. Prater, do you recognize that name?
The Kimberly part, I believe, might be Miss Martinez's individual therapist, but I'm not sure on her last name.
Kimberlyn Golden.
I don't recognize.
Let me bring this person in real quickly. I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me just bring her in and see who this is. Are you looking for a different hearing somewhere, maybe?
Yes, probably. I'm here in the interest of
Okay, what county is that case?
Danhert or Dalmar. I'm sorry.
Dallin?
Mhm.
Okay, you need to be with Judge Graham. I don't know who gave you this link, but that's not the correct link.
Gotcha.
I would email. Well, no, you're not going to get her right now. Do you know who the prosecutor is in the case?
Not yet. It was a very new case. I'm sorry.
Okay. You're going to be, you need probably a Randall County link. I know his coordinator is out of the office right now. She's had a death in the family. So I can't really direct you to try to contact her.
I actually have the link. I was supposed to be there, but my case was canceled. I just don't, if Ms. Golden wants to send me an email, I can copy and paste and return with the link. You got Ms. Golden, you got a pen?
Yes.
My email is really, really simple.
Okay.
V as in Vince, E as in Edward.com.
Okay.
You send me a blank email and I'll reply with the link. Sorry about that, Judge.
No, I appreciate it very much because I just know this coordinator's out right now. So, okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Golden.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
It's no problem. Don't worry. Okay, Mr. Trout, sorry about that. You can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Gatlin, you said that you had worked with mom previously. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that in one of the prior cases that was testified to earlier?
Yes. Two of them. Mhm.
Okay, so you've worked with her on 2 or 3 occasions?
Well, this will be the third. Yes.
Okay. And what was your work with her in the prior cases? I know that they were some drug-related stuff in those cases. Is that what you were working with her on?
Yes. And mental health problems.
And then you started with her in this case in 2023.
Yes.
Did mom complete counseling with you?
No.
Okay. Can you tell us what happened?
She there were well, to put it briefly, she missed too many appointments for me to be motivated to continue offering her services.
When did you discharge her for missing those?
I did
Okay. And when did you do that?
in July of 2024.
Okay. So how many sessions was she supposed to do?
Well, she was scheduled a total, now these are individual sessions. She was scheduled a total of 12 times and she attended 6 of 12 or 50%. Now I also did a social assessment with her, and though there were 3 appointments for that, and she did attend all 3 of those. But total, if you look at both of those appointments combined, there were a total of 15 and she attended 9. 9 out of the 15 or 60%.
Okay.
But the individual sessions, there were only 6 that she attended out of the 12.
And do you have a record of how many she missed? I mean, I know she only attended 6 of the 12, but did you reset and give her more options to try to get in for those other sessions?
Yes, except for the very last one. Yes, most of them were. She did cancel one appointment due to a work conflict, which means she contacted me before the appointment time.
Okay.
But the others were no-shows where she just didn't show up and didn't contact me.
So those were just no show, no calls.
Right. And you know, probably later she texted or called wanting to, reschedule the appointment.
Okay. What were you mainly working on with mom in the sessions that she did make?
Relapse prevention, substance use, relapse prevention, methamphetamine, marijuana, and keeping her mental health stable and trying to maintain a overall stable lifestyle.
During your sessions that you did have with Miss Martinez, how was she doing on that front?
In the beginning of the case, when I started working with her in March of 2023, she seemed to be doing pretty well. Adrian kind of comes on like a fireball in the beginning. Very capable of getting jobs and working hard and earning a living for herself. And she was attending AA meetings, and she seemed to be focused on staying clean, sober, and avoiding abusive relationships with men. So in the beginning, she seemed to be doing okay. And she would cooperate in the sessions with me and discussing ways that she could construct her life that would keep her from going back to drugs and reprobate men.
And were these plans that y'all worked on together, or were these plans that mom had laid out for herself?
Well, it was a discussion. Adrian does well in counseling. I think I had a good relationship with her. She discussed these issues. It was a legitimate traditional counseling relationship. I offered information for her and ideas. We explored her problems. She was open with me, and and she offered some ideas herself. Yes.
Now you stated that she comes on like a fireball. Does she kind of fade out later, or does she have trouble holding on to those plans?
That is Adrian's, one of her primary root cause problems is that she comes on very strong and does very well, but she has a pattern now. I have observed it now over the course of, I don't know how far back the first case goes when I worked with her, but she tends to fizzle out, and she can't hang on to the progress that she achieves. And her mental health and her drive to use drugs really get in the way. And then men that she gets involved with get in the way of her being able to sustain this healthy lifestyle that we are hoping that she can achieve and keep. Unfortunately for her, she has a pattern of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs.
During your counseling with her in this case, did she maintain her compliance with her mental health treatment?
Well, when I first saw her in March of 2023, she was not taking any psychotropic medication. And then she got on it. And the second appointment in April, she had started on it again. As I understand it, she did not stay on it throughout the course of the case.
And in your past dealings through your other couple of cases with her, was that kind of the same pattern there also?
Well, excuse me. I believe it was Cochran County when I testified in an earlier final hearing, and the problem is her mental health and not taking care of her mental health. And by taking care of it, I mean taking your medicine. This keeps her emotionally and behaviorally stable. And for whatever reason that maybe she can explain, she stops taking her medication. And then, of course, she has the symptoms surface again. Impulsivity, hyperactivity, strong drives to do these things, these compulsive behaviors that get her in trouble, cause all types of problems for her.
And have you noticed if when she's on her medication, she does great? Would you agree with that?
Well, I don't know that I would say great, but she's stable. When she's on her medicine, she attends her appointments, and she seems to pace herself a little more.
Does it seem being on her mental health medications, does it seem to curb her drug use at that time, from what you've seen?
I'm sorry, will you repeat the question?
Sorry. While she's compliant with her medication, do you notice a downfall in her drug usage at that time?
Well, if by downfall you mean, I'm not sure I understand what you mean by downfall.
When she's compliant with her medication, does she seem to be able to stay away from the drugs?
Yes.
Okay. So when she falls off of out of compliance with her mental health medication, her drug use seems to go up.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. During your time working with her, did she get compliant with her medication? You said by April she was back on medication.
Yes.
Do you know when she stopped taking that again, or if she stopped taking that again?
Well, I understand from the caseworker that she did stop taking it, but I don't know at what point she stopped taking it.
Okay.
There was a gap. There was a large gap in the work that I did with her through this case.
Okay. And when was that gap?
It began in September of 2023.
Okay.
And I didn't see her from the end of August 2023 until the beginning of April 2024. So there was a large segment of time when she was not seen by me. So again, I'm not certain at what point and that's when the child was reunified with her. But I'm not certain at what point she quit taking the psychiatric medication.
Okay. And so you started seeing her again in March or April of 24, you said, correct?
April,
I'm sorry. Do you know whether she was back on her medications at that point?
Well, I don't, and I don't have that in my notes, and it is something that I would have asked, and I'm not sure why it is not in my notes, but I'm not aware of that. The caseworker notified me that she was not on her medication. That's how I knew.
Okay. Did you and Mom during the sessions, did y'all discuss drug uses and relapses?
In the initial sessions, we did. In the second segment, which was April of this year through June of this year, was only 2 sessions. Mostly the discussion was about the removal of the child and her efforts to react to that and to try to get him back into her care, into her possession.
But y'all didn't discuss whether the removal caused any stressors that made her relapse?
We did, yes. She did indicate that the removal was a big trigger for her and that she'd used again.
And was that at your first or second session with her? Do you remember?
I believe it was the first.
After your second session, how many sessions did Miss Martinez miss before you discharged her?
Well, so from April of this year, 2024, through July 5th of 2024, she was scheduled 5 times. I gave her 5 appointments. And she no-showed on 3. She attended April 10th, 2024, and she attended June 7th of 2024. After that, I decided that I would no longer see her.
And so you don't know, you have no idea what happened with mom after that. You haven't had any contact with her since then.
That's right.
In your opinion, working with mom, did she seem stable enough and in the right place to raise a 4-year-old?
Well, I would have to know more to answer that question. For instance, at what point in the case might you be referring?
Well, by the time your sessions ended with her, was she in a place to have a child?
Oh, no.
What at that time do you believe she needed to be focusing on?
Well, she was just overall unstable. She didn't have her own home. She was, I think, 31 days clean. She did have a job. She didn't have a reliable phone. She would have needed primarily to focus on getting clean again and staying clean. Going back to the basics of living a life of recovery. I don't know that Adrian has ever done that. I think she's just been clean. There's a difference. And she needed to probably get back into some form of treatment, more than AA meetings. But I didn't make any recommendations after that. But no, absolutely not. She was not stable enough. She couldn't even attend an appointment.
And you just made a statement that living clean and recovery are 2 different things. Can you explain that?
Well, recovery is a lifestyle where a person understands that they have an addiction and understand that addiction is a chronic relapsing disease, and that for the remainder of life, you have to commit yourself every day to some pattern of trying to live clean and sober. And that means staying in some treatment program or 12-step program and committing to it for a lifetime. And being involved with groups and peer support, going to counseling. There's lots of ways that a person stays in recovery. It's a more comprehensive. But a person who's just staying clean, I would say they just quit. They haven't really changed their mind about wanting to quit drugs long term. They've just quit for the purpose, maybe of whoever is expecting them to quit, like a family member or a court system or a state agency.
And in your time throughout the 3 cases working with Ms. Martinez, which category would you say she's in?
Well, I think she quits. She quits for a while, and maybe she puts forth some effort, but she doesn't stay. She doesn't really enter into a full recovery program.
In your time working with her, what have you noticed would be the longest period that she's been able to live sober and not recovery?
I don't have an answer for that. I can't be accurate on that. I do know there's been a pattern as after a case closes, she does return to some of these old ways of living. So I think she can get clean and stay clean for as long as expected. And then since she does go back to these old ways, it's hard to answer that. Anyway, I just don't know the answer, how long she's been, probably in the matter of months. I don't know that we could say a full year.
Okay. And that's fair enough. I just wondered if you'd seen a pattern on that. As far as through your history with her, you mentioned that the recovery process revolves also around the people that she surrounds herself with. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, yes.
Have you noticed, in working with her, does mom change who she hangs around, or does her group still kind of stay the same?
Well, unfortunately, after the last case that closed, I think that was a Lubbock County case. When I met with her the first time, she'd started smoking marijuana again and gotten back involved with Israel, Raina, Xerxes' dad. And she had talked about not being a part of his life anymore because of the trouble that he caused her. He was abusive, and she said he was abusive to the child. And so I don't understand, well, I do and I don't, why she would go back to him after having left him for the reasons that good reasons that she gave. So she goes back to the very problems that create all this mess in her life. I guess you'll have to ask her. But she does seem to return to the problem.
During your sessions in this case, did y'all discuss her support system and her friends that she's around at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you gain from that? What was your opinion of the people she was around at this time?
Well, at the beginning, when I met with her, I think her support was she was living in a sober living center here in Lubbock, and she had some support, I think, from them. I don't know if she had developed a support system for the return of her son, as she did mention her sister. But at some point, before the child went home, I don't know what support system she had. I did not recommend reunification. So I lost touch with her. And so I'm not sure what support she had. Now, when I saw her after the re-removal, she mentioned that her sister was a part of her support system, but the support system had fallen apart. I don't know the reason the sister wasn't available, but this is why she had to take Xerxes to work with her. It was because she didn't have any help. And then later, I think she said she had some help from a woman who was with her in AA, and then maybe a niece or a relative. But this was after the re-removal.
Okay. So after your last session in, I believe you said June, that you had with her, you're not aware of what her support system was after that.
That's right.
Okay. But as she did not complete counseling with you for this case, correct?
That's right. I discharged her. Yes.
And so from your knowledge of the case up until your last meeting with her, you couldn't recommend any type of reunification with mom at that time.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Gallen. I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Naranjo?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Gatlin, I know you've done a lot of CPS cases. Is it the regular practice that usually in these CPS cases, people are asked to do 6 individual sessions of counseling?
Well, that is a practice in Potter County, the northern areas of counties of West Texas. Now, that is not the case in Lubbock. The number of sessions is determined by the counselor and the client. But I do know out of Potter County, the caseworkers expect us to see the client for at least 6 sessions. That's what I understand. County's different.
What's expressed to you by the caseworker of Miss Martinez needing to do 6 sessions of counseling?
I don't recall, but that's usually what I hear.
And are you aware if the court ordered Miss Martinez to do more than 6 sessions of counseling?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. And just to be clear, Ms. Martinez did complete 6 sessions of counseling.
Yes, well, I'm not sure I understand how you're the subtext. She attended 6 sessions.
Okay.
When you say completed, that implies she completed a
And
treatment.
then after her 6 sessions, you recommended more sessions based on issues with her bipolar, correct?
Well, okay, I have to go back to the 6 sessions to answer your question. There's nothing magical about 6 appointments. That is just a number that was drawn out of the air. I don't know that there's any research to back that. The number of sessions depends on the progress that is made with the parent. That will indicate the number of sessions that we attend. Because I could say, well, attend 10 sessions, and the person could maybe have made very little progress. So we can't really rely on the number of I mean, I testified in a hearing of someone attended 20 plus sessions and they didn't make any progress. So I can't really testify that the 6 is some sort of magical number that people after 6 sessions, you're good to go. I hope I'm.
My question to you was, did you recommend more than those 6 sessions due to the bipolar?
Well, I didn't recommend any number of sessions, but I recommended that I continue to schedule her ongoing. The attendance record shows evidence of that. That each time she was scheduled, each time she attended an appointment, she was scheduled for a follow-up appointment.
Okay. Now, as part of your roles of being a licensed professional counselor, for someone in your position, in your profession, to make a recommendation on custody, visitation with the child, things like that, usually your profession, you need to do what's called a custody evaluation, correct?
Well, in private cases, yes, not in these cases.
Did you do a custody evaluation of any sort in this case?
No.
But you still wanted to make a recommendation that Ms. Martinez.
Well, I'm permitted to make a custody recommendation in these cases. I think the statutes support that.
But you didn't have any contact with the child whatsoever, correct?
No, not in this case.
I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Nowak?
Thank you so much, Judge. Sir, my name is Vince Nowak, and I represent the father, Israel Renia. Have you had any contact with him throughout the course of this case?
No,
You haven't provided any counseling services to him, correct?
that's right. No, I have not.
And this may sound like a silly question, but do you know where he lives?
I don't know where he lives.
Sir, that's all I have. Judge, thank you so much.
Okay, Ms. Zavala?
Mr. Gatlin, were you involved in the first case with Xerxes? That would have been back in 2019. That was a family-based case?
I don't think I worked that case. I
Okay.
can't be certain. Excuse me. I don't think I worked that case.
Okay. The one that started, I think, when he was about 2 months old?
No,
You're not sure?
It wasn't that one.
Okay. And then, did you work the 2020 removal?
Yes.
You had mentioned in response to a question that you had not met with Xerxes in this case. Have you ever met with Xerxes?
Yes.
When was that?
Well, I saw him with Adrian in the first case that I worked, which was prior to 2019. I'm not sure what year that was, but I think Xerxes was a baby. Or she had just had him. And then again, that was a Cochran case county, I think. And then again, I saw him with her in the 2020 case.
Okay. And that 2019 case, that closed out successfully, meaning the department left child remained at home and that was closed, right?
Well, you mentioned 2019. Are you talking about the family-based, the FBSS case? Well, I don't think I worked that one. It was the CVS, the conservatorship case that I worked in 2020 with her.
Okay, okay. And that one ended up, although the children were removed, she worked services and they were placed back. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
So she's worked with you in a case where she has successfully gotten the kids back.
Yes.
Did you work any of the previous cases with her previous children?
I did.
Okay. Was that back in 2015?
That must have been it. I could recall the year. It was the child just before Xerxes.
Were drugs also an issue back then?
Yes.
Were you involved at all in 2013?
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
I pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Trout, anything further?
Just a couple of questions, Your Honor. Mr. Gallen, I know you discussed the amount of sessions and 6 sessions versus whether she was supposed to do 12 sessions with you. Do you typically release a client if you believe they're not ready to be released? Meaning, do you recommend other than continue, you would keep scheduling them to continue sessions if you believe they still needed help?
Oh, yes. I would continue to schedule. Yes.
Okay. And in this case, you did continue to try to schedule Ms. Martinez, correct?
Yes, I did until she didn't show up on July 5th, and I decided I would not.
Did you continue to schedule those because you thought she still needed some counseling and help?
Well, from April until July, I did. I scheduled those 5 appointments because I was willing to help her. But the pattern of no-shows was just.
Is it safe to say that it's hard to, in your job, to help somebody that's not ready to be helped?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Ronho?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Mr. Gatlin, you testified earlier that someone can be working on their recovery if they're attending like sober living, NAAA, things like that, correct?
Yes.
So if Miss Martinez is attending and in a sober living home at this point, would she be working on her recovery?
Well, that would be one portion, one part to the whole. Yes, one part to the whole. Yes.
I'll pass witness.
Mr. Nowak?
Nothing else, Judge. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Gatlin, what would be the rest of the components? You said that was one part to the whole. What would be the rest of the components?
Mental health, maintenance of mental health, compliance with psychiatric treatment, health, stability in job, a peer group support of others like-minded who are also in recovery, health, wellness, a spiritual side, faith.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, anybody have any further questions for Mr. Gatlin?
Just a couple of real quick ones, Your Honor. Mr. Gallen, throughout your work with Mom, has she lived in sober living homes before?
Well, this time, this is the first time I think she has, that I'm aware of. I don't remember in the previous cases that she did. This was the first time, I think.
Okay. You stated back in when you first started seeing her in 2023, I believe you stated she was living in a sober living home. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Did she leave that sober living home?
I believe so, yes.
And then at one point, she stopped coming to you back in August, September of last year.
Yes,
Okay. She was reunited with her child. And then the child was re-removed. Without all the other components, just living in the sober living home, is not going to be a permanent fix or recovery for a parent.
well, no, and I think a person has to do everything possible. It takes a comprehensive program. I think you have to hit this addiction problem from every possible angle. And only living or only doing one of those components is not enough, especially when it comes to methamphetamine, a very dangerous drug that keeps drawing people back and back and back unless they fight it in a comprehensive way and taking advantage of every service that's available to them.
Okay.
An opportunity.
And you stated you've been working with Ms. Martinez for possibly her first case or one of her cases back in 2015 up until now.
Yes.
Okay. And in that, is that 8-9 years now? She still has an issue with drug use. Is that correct?
Well, yes, and I remember testifying in that final hearing determination in that with that other child. And it was the same, unfortunately, with all the help she's had, it was the same, there was the same issues back then as we're looking at today. And a person has to want to change. That alone is not enough, but a person has to decide and decide that they want help and want a long-term change. Otherwise, it's a futile effort.
So until they make that conscious decision to change and then put forth every effort and everything they have into that change, it's going to be hard to happen.
That's right. And change including taking your medicine. And that means AA medicine and prescription medication for mental illness and staying on it.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'll pass the witness here.
Any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
All right, then, counsel, is Mr. Gatlin free to go on about his day at this point in time?
No objection.
No objection.
No
Yep.
objection.
All right, Mr. Gatlin, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you logging in, and you are free to go, sir.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you very
Gallen.
much.
Mhm.
Okay, it's 10:10. I was going to break about 10:30, but who's your next witness?
Ms. Prater.
Okay, probably going to be kind of a lengthy one. Let's go ahead and take a short break here, about 10 minutes, and then we'll start back with Ms. Prater.
And how are you familiar with that case?
I'm their primary permanency specialist.
And got the same line of questioning. Does St. Francis keep records in the normal course of business?
Yes,
And are those records and files built at the time or around the time the events occurred?
yes,
And are those done by somebody with personal knowledge?
yes,
Do you have access to those records?
I do.
Are you a custodian of records?
I am.
Have you reviewed this case?
Yes,
And have you reviewed all documents in y'all's business records?
yes.
Now, you weren't the original worker on this case, is that correct?
Not at the time of removal, no.
But how long have you been on this case?
Since early March of 2023.
Okay, so you've been on it for a little over a year.
Yes,
or
sir.
About a year and a half.
Yes.
When St. Francis begins a case, what is y'all's first steps?
We start immediately assessing the parents to draft their family plan of service as well as the needs of the children, both medical, psychological, on both sides.
And you mentioned family plans of service. Can you tell me what those are?
Yes, they are drafted plans, including services to help mitigate the reasons for removal.
And are those services built on a case-by-case basis?
They are.
And are those services tailored to what you believe the parent needs at that time?
Yes.
Do those services change sometimes?
Yes, they do.
Were family plans of service created for this case?
They were.
Are family plans of service, after they're created, are they made in order of the court?
Yes,
And was that done in this case?
they were.
Did you receive what I sent out, in the exhibits?
Yes.
Do you have those pulled up?
I did. 1 second.
Can you tell me what exhibit number 2, is that a family plan of service?
It is.
It was that filed with the court?
It was.
And is this a accurate depiction of, or copy of the, family plan of service that was drafted from mom at the beginning of this case?
Yes,
Did mom sign these family plans of service?
she did.
And these were, again, these were made orders of the court.
Yes.
Can you tell me what exhibit number 3 is?
I just clicked out of it.
Mr. Trout, while she's getting back into that, I just am looking, I don't have your exhibits.
And Judge, I don't know that I resent them out. I think they're from the original hearing back in July.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking for them as well, and I also
Sorry,
Okay.
I apologize, I didn't send them back out.
I only had the family plan, Daniel.
Let me find them. Okay, I just sent them, Judge.
okay.
Everybody, let me know if nobody gets them. I think I got everybody on there. Are we good, Your Honor?
Yeah, go ahead.
And just to start back real quick, exhibit number 2.
Okay.
Is that a family plan of service for Ms. Martinez?
It is.
And was that filed with the court on 9/7/22?
Yes.
And mom signed this service plan?
Yes.
These service plans were made in order of the court.
Yes.
And then exhibit number 3, can you tell me what that is?
This appears to be a family plan of service for Israel Reyna.
And was that filed with the court also on 9/7/22?
It was.
Did the alleged dad on this one, did he sign the service plans?
He did.
And were these were also made in order of the court?
They were.
Exhibit number 4, can you tell me what that is?
This is a plan of service for Adrian Martinez.
Okay. And was this filed with the court?
Yes.
Okay. And when was it filed with the court?
July 19th, 2024.
So this is one of the most recent family plans of service.
Yes.
Okay. And you've discussed services with mom,
I have.
and she's aware she had to work services throughout the life of this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibits 2, 3, and 4. They're the family plans of service from this case. 2 and 3 are the certified copies. 4 is the file mark copy that was testified to.
Any objection?
no.
No objection.
All right, petitioners exhibits 2, 3, and 4 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Prater, during this case, we kind of have some ups and downs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did mom, we'll start with mom. Did mom work her service plans?
Initially, yes.
Okay. And when you say initially, what do you mean?
Prior to reunification.
Okay. And she worked, now we heard Mr. Gatlin state earlier that her counseling kind of fell off before reunification, but other than that, she had worked her services.
Yes.
Okay. And we worked toward reunification.
We did.
Okay. How was mom doing at that time?
At the time of reunification, she was doing fairly well. She had reported to me that she had supports in place. She was continuing to go to AA and NA meetings regularly. She was working. She had her own vehicle. She was doing pretty well at the time.
Okay. And at the time of reunification, were we getting close to the end of the case?
Yes.
And did you ever have conversations with mom about not finishing up with the counseling?
Yes.
Okay. Were your plans to continue mom with counseling?
Yes.
And then give me 1 second. Mom was at the beginning of this case, mom was incarcerated. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And you stated you got on this case in when?
March of 2023, directly after she was released.
Okay. So she was, but from the beginning of the case up until then, she was incarcerated. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you know, was she incarcerated for the incident that led up to this removal?
She was.
And do you know, did mom she did a sentence, or she made a plea deal on that case. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit Exhibits 7 and 8. They're certified copies of an indictment and of an order deferring adjudication on the case that led to the removal.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Petitioners Exhibits 7 and 8. will be
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. Prater, can you look at exhibit number 8 for me?
Yes.
And can you tell me what the title of that document is?
Order of deferred adjudication.
Okay. And about 3 lines below that, can you tell me what the offense was?
Abandon, endanger child, criminal negligence.
Thank you, ma'am. And mom is currently still on deferred adjudication for this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. So reunification, how did it go? How did reunification go with mom?
It started very well. Mom was very attentive to Xerxes' needs. About a week to a week and a half into reunification, I did notice that the main support for Adrian at the time, which was her stepson, and an approved caregiver for her, had moved out of the home. So Adrian was staying home with Xerxes. She was working on trying to find childcare. We were working on our end with CCMS. So it started off very well.
Okay. And where did it go from there?
We started having issues finding Adrian at home during our unannounced visits. We initially, in the first couple of times that it happened, I did call Adrian to ask her to come home so I could lay eyes on her and Xerxes and the home. After that, it just got more sporadic from there. Myself and my courtesy worker that lives in Lubbock, we attended unannounced visits multiple times throughout the day, some at 7 a.m., some at 7:30 p.m., 6:30 p.m., on times when the family should be home. Oftentimes, if Adrian wasn't home towards the end of us needing to be there, we would call her and tell her to come home.
Was mom working at the time?
She was.
And were these times that when y'all stop by and make unannounced visits, do you try to do it? Do you have copies of parents' work schedules when you do this?
Sometimes we do, if we're having trouble locating the parents at home. I did communicate with Adrian that this was starting to be a concern, so she was sending me her work schedule towards the end of Xerxes' placement with her.
Okay. And so these stops when mom wasn't at home, did you try to do them at times that she was not supposed to be at work?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in an effort to not have to call mom away from work, or to make sure that it's a time that she would normally be home.
Yes.
And did you ever observe Xerxes during these visits?
Yes.
And how did Xerxes appear to be doing to you?
He appeared in the first couple of visits to kind of be a little cautious of me. He was very still, very, just wanting to kind of get my questions over with quickly. But towards the end of his reunification, he started just kind of, the best word I think is reclusive. He didn't really want to talk to me. He would be excited that I was there, but he wasn't really playful or energetic like he normally was.
And did you ever, besides that and the change in his behavior there, did you ever see anything that concerned you with Xerxes?
Yes.
And what was that?
Towards about the middle of his reunification, physically, I saw that he started having bags underneath his eyes. His eyes were a little sunken in. Other than that, normally he would appear clean, well-dressed, appropriate for the weather. But also he was getting sick more often than was normal.
And these cases can get a little, they can get tough when parents have to work, but also have to take care of the child. But that is things that have to happen in the normal course of life. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How was mom's support system at that time? You stated that one of her approved caregivers had moved out or wasn't around. What other support system did mom have at that time?
Her support system at the time was very unstable. The only caregiver that we had approved at the time was her sister, but due to her sister having Adrian's oldest child and CPS history being with that oldest child, we couldn't approve Xerxes to be in the home with her sister. So it was required that Amanda be at Adrian's home to care for Xerxes. There was also another cousin that she had provided to me that she wanted to have as a backup caregiver for Xerxes as well. This caregiver I couldn't approve due to active criminal history and a warrant out for her arrest.
Besides those couple of people, were there anybody else that mom had given you that she was hoping to help with childcare or while mom was at work?
The previous foster parents, but other than that, no.
Okay. During this monitored return reunification, was mom utilizing the previous placement? Were they
She did
helping much?
once.
Okay.
Yes.
Just once?
Yes.
Okay. You stated that Xerxes seemed to be getting sick more. Did you have these conversations with mom? Did she tell you that what his issues were?
Yes, the first time she did not tell me that he was sick. I had done an unannounced visit that day, and the people that were present at her home told me that they were at the emergency room. So at that point, I did call Adrian and ask her where they were. And I went and met them at urgent care, Covenant Urgent Care there in Lubbock. Sat with them for a little while, and the doctor came in and said Xerxes had tonsillitis.
What was mom's plan of care for Xerxes during that time?
She was informed he couldn't go to school until he was fever-free, to kind of keep him home, let him rest, and to keep him pushing liquids.
Okay. Did mom keep him at home?
No, sir.
And can you elaborate on that?
Yes. Earlier that day, Adrian and I left urgent care. I had dropped off Christmas presents for CPS Christmas with Xerxes and Adrian. I left to go complete another visit and stopped back by the home around 7, and they weren't home. I did call Adrian to kind of see where they were since Xerxes was sick, and she told me that they were out in public eating.
Okay. And was this the same day that y'all been to the
Yes.
doctor? Okay. So shortly after being told that he needs to be home and resting, he was out in public eating.
Yes.
What happened after that? What did y'all do after that?
I did inform Adrian that they needed to go home, and that as soon as they finished eating, Xerxes needed to take his medication and go to bed.
Did y'all have any other discussions about kind of proper care and what needed to happen moving forward?
Yes.
And what were those discussions?
It was after I had done a unannounced visit at Xerxes school. I went to Adrian's work, and I had a conversation with her about how her son was low energy, about how he needed to go home and go to sleep, because he was falling asleep talking to me during that conversation. And I just had a discussion with her about listening to her son's needs and prioritizing those needs.
And how far in between? So this all happened sometime between December of 23 and February of 24. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And these were kind of ongoing discussions that y'all had on them not being home all the time and Xerxes being out.
Yes.
Okay. During this time, and it happens, but was mom taking Xerxes up to work?
Yes.
And where was she working?
At the time, she was between Sonic. She had taken him to her job at Sonic a couple of times, and she was taking him to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Did Xerxes get sick later on?
He did.
And what was that?
I was told it was the flu.
Okay. And was he running fevers? Did mom state whether he was running fevers and had to come home?
Yes. So about 2 or 3 days after I had the conversation with her about prioritizing Xerxes' needs, she texted me that following Monday and said that Xerxes was running a fever, he was throwing up, he couldn't keep anything down. And that a couple hours later, she texted me that they came back with the flu. So he wasn't supposed to go to school. And the doctor's note that she sent me said when he was present at the clinic, I believe his fever was 101.
I didn't hear the last part of your objection.
Hearsay. She's about to say what the doctor says.
All right, sustained.
Did you discuss the fever with mom?
Yes,
Did she tell you whether he was running fever or not?
she did.
Okay. When was once that happened, when was your next contact? Was Xerxes at work with mom?
I contacted them the next day. I went to the home first since Xerxes wasn't supposed to be at school for a few days. I went to the home first. They were not there. I checked Adrian's work schedule that she had sent me and figured maybe she would be at work. It was about 4:30 in the afternoon at this time though, and she was supposed to work the morning shift. So I went to her work and they were both there.
And what did you observe with Xerxes at that time?
Adrian was across the dining room. I did not see Xerxes at that point. I called Adrian over and asked where Xerxes was, and he was actually below me to where I could not see him, asleep in a booth.
How was he doing at that time?
He was kind of lethargic. When I put my hand to his forehead, he did feel hot. He did appear to be sweating. And he, no matter I tried to, get him up and kind of work around him trying to wake up, he did not want to wake up and talk to me.
What was your suggestion then? Did you have a conversation with mom about that?
Yes.
And what was that conversation?
Adrian had told me that she was cashing out her last table and was about to leave. And I told her to take him straight home to give him his medicine. Adrian did bring the medicine with her to her work that day. And told her to just go straight home, put him to bed, let him get some rest. And then I left.
Did you see Xerxes anymore after that?
Yes.
When?
My next visit was at the time of removal.
Okay. And so due to these issues of mom throughout the reunification, having mom having the child out numerous times when he was sick, at her work while he was sick, what you observed with the way Xerxes was acting, did you believe is in the best interest at that time to ask the court to remove from the reunification?
Excuse me. Yes.
And can you state why you believe that was in the best interest of the child?
Adrian and I had numerous conversations about listening to her son's needs and, making sure he got plenty of rest and that he had a stable environment. And she continued not to do so.
You mentioned earlier that one of your first stop-ins, mom had Xerxes at urgent care, but there were two people in the home. Did you know those two people?
I did not.
Did you get those people's names?
Well, later on, I identified that what they gave me was not true.
Okay. Who did you find out that those people were?
One of them was Antonio Tofola.
Okay. And who is he?
He was mom's reported friend, but later on identified as her boyfriend.
Okay. To your knowledge, though, now they're not seeing each other?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Did y'all have conversations that he was not allowed to be around Xerxes or in the home?
Yes, so Adrian had actually given me his name prior to reunification as a backup caregiver. Again, due to his criminal history, I wasn't able to approve that. So we just talked about him not being able to be a caregiver to Xerxes. Xerxes, was not present in the home at the time that I was there. So about the next visit after my LPS worker did do an unannounced visit where Mr. Toffolo was reported to be in the bathroom. And we did implement a safety plan after that.
Okay, and Xerxes was in the home at that time?
He was.
Okay. And was that another big concern of yours for asking for the removal, is that unapproved people were being around?
Yes.
And so at that time, you believed it was in the best for the health and safety of Xerxes, it was in his best interest to remove and to keep working with mom.
Yes.
Okay. Now, after re-removal, what was the plan going forward with mom after that?
We wanted to see her back in therapy to address some of these parenting choices and address the re-removal.
And was this when she went back for a couple of sessions with Mr. Gatlin?
Yes.
Did y'all discuss with mom on whether she wanted to continue seeing Mr. Gatlin or she wanted a new therapist?
Yes. Initially after the re-removal, I did tell Adrian that we were sending her back to therapy. At the time, she was resistive to want to do any further services. But eventually she did say that she was willing to work with us. And I did ask her then if she had a preference on which therapist she wanted to go back to, or to even start seeing a new one. And she told me to stay with Dr. Gatlin. Or I'm sorry, Mr. Gatlin.
Okay. After the re-removal, Mr. Gatlin testified earlier that mom admitted to him that she had relapsed. Did she discuss that with you?
Yes.
Okay. And did mom state what she had relapsed with on?
Yes.
And what was that?
Methamphetamine.
Okay. Did she state whether it was an ongoing issue or how many times it had happened?
In my initial conversation with her, it kind of happened in a sequence. I sent her to drug screen. She did not go, but somehow that authorization still stayed open. She did not go at the time that I sent her, but she went a few days later. And she called me after she had taken that drug screen and said that she had relapsed. She told me that she, was with some friends and that she used about I believe she said 1 gram of methamphetamine at that time.
And do you know what friends those were?
No.
So you're not sure if it was people that you knew about or were familiar with?
She refused to tell me.
Okay. And did mom have concerning drug screens after that, after she admitted to you?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 1 is the business records affidavit of mom's drug screens through this case that have been served to all parties.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, I'm gonna switch gears just real quick and talk about dad for just a little bit. How has contact with dad been?
I've had contact with him twice.
Okay, so you've been on this case for about 1.5 years.
Yes.
And you've had contact with dad twice.
Yes.
What about the case notes from the prior worker? Did the prior worker have much contact with dad?
Besides initial removal, no.
Okay. Was a paternity registry search done for dad?
Yes.
Okay. And did it state whether anybody had claimed paternity of the child?
No.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 5. It's a certified copy of the certificate of paternity registry search that was filed into this case.
No objection.
Objection.
No objection.
Petitioner's Exhibit 5 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Prater, we testified earlier and put into exhibits. Dad did sign his original service plan, correct?
He did.
Did Dad ever work services?
No, not to
Has
my
he-
knowledge.
Okay. Has he ever reached out to you to work services?
No.
Has he had visits with the child?
No.
We've been in this case for 2.5 years.
Yes.
And has Dad ever called or inquired about how the child is doing?
Not to me, no.
Okay. You said you've talked to him twice. What were your conversations with him then?
They also were kind of in a sequence. I went to his home with his sister, Cynthia Reyna. And I had been to the home earlier that day, but I was calling in a welfare check. Sorry. I called in a welfare check earlier that day, because there was kind of a foul odor coming from the home and no one was coming to the door. So I went back later that afternoon and his sister was there. His sister initially told me that he wasn't there. She didn't know where he was. But her daughter came in the room and said that, oh, well, he's in the backyard. So they did bring Israel out to come meet with me, and I met with him then. And then I called him the day after.
Okay. And your conversations at that time, did he inquire about the child?
No.
Did he ask to try to set up visits with the child?
Visits, no.
Did he inquire about getting services set up in a state that he wanted to work services?
He said that he wanted to get into treatment.
Okay. Did you try to work with him to get him to find a treatment or to get him into treatment?
Yes.
And what were your steps on that?
I did call the statewide hotline to locate a bed for him. This is a resource that is used to kind of find a bed anywhere in the state of Texas. And there was a bed for him at Plainview Serenity, which was fairly close to him that I wanted to get him to jump on. But my next call with him was, hey, you have to set up this. They need you to call. I can't do it for you. And I provided him with that information.
Did he ever call?
Not to my knowledge.
And was that your last contact with him? And when exactly was that?
That was in October of 2023.
Okay. So over a year ago was your last contact with that.
Yes.
Have you continued to try to find him or find out where he lives?
Yes.
Do you know where he lives at this time?
No.
Does any of his family, you said you had talked to his sister and knew where she lived. Do you know, did she know where he was?
I talked to her in October of 24, after kind of sporadic contact with her as well. The last conversation I had with her, she was telling me that I was no longer welcomed at her home. My conversation with her recently was more, have you seen Israel? Do you know where he's at? She said she knew he was in Muleshoe, but she didn't know where he was living, and she hadn't had any contact with him.
At this time, based on your knowledge and lack of Dad's cooperation, are you asking the court to terminate the parental rights or potential paternal, I can't talk today, potential paternal rights of Israel Reyna as to the child based upon one, failed to register with paternity registry, but two, failure to work services and constructive abandonment?
Yes,
And do you believe that's in the best interest of Xerxes at this time?
I do.
Thank you. Now we'll switch back to Mom. How has your contact been with Mom since re-removal?
In the first few months, it was pretty sporadic. She would call me from random numbers. She never had a consistent number that I could reach her at. She refused to tell me where she was living. All she said was that she was living with friends. We did try to support ongoing visits by giving her rides and things like that. And she would give us an address to an apartment complex, but never an apartment number. After she had moved out with those friends, since she went into her first sober living program, contact got more frequent.
Okay. And you said first sober living. How many, since re-removal, how many sober living homes have mom been in?
2.
2. Is she currently living in one?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know when she moved into that?
September of this year.
Okay. So just in the last 2 months?
Yes.
Between the sober living homes, do you know where she was living?
No.
Okay. When's the last time you saw the inside of a home that mom was living in?
Last week.
Okay.
Or this week. I'm sorry. I saw her Monday.
Okay. And that was in the sober living home?
Yes.
Okay. Before that, when was the last time you had been inside one of mom's living places?
October of this year.
Okay. So as far as that, has she been fairly cooperative with you seeing the inside of the properties?
Yes.
Okay. Now you stated for a while there, she was telling you an apartment complex, but not an apartment number. Were you ever able to see the inside of that area?
I had made arrangements to meet with Adrian at this apartment complex, but she texted me last minute canceling. So no, I was never able to see inside of it.
Okay. And when did that end?
That was about June of 2024.
Okay. And then when did she go into the first sober living?
Later on that month.
Okay. And were you able to see her there?
Yes.
Okay. When did she move? In what sober living area was that? Was the name of that?
I'm sorry.
What was the name of that sober living?
New Beginnings.
Okay. And when did she move out of New Beginnings?
She notified me in late September.
Did she tell you when she had moved out?
Yes, she said she had moved out the Friday prior, and this was on a Tuesday.
Okay. So to your understanding, she moved from one sober living to another sober.
Yes.
Was there any gap in between that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Did she tell you why she moved out of the first sober living?
She said there was conflict with one of the managers in that sober living.
Did she state what kind of conflict that was?
She said that they had gotten into a verbal argument regarding Adrian's plan to move out and get an apartment with one of the residents at that sober living.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, they had an issue because Adriana and another resident wanted to move into a place together.
That's what I was told, yes.
Okay. Do you know why was that an issue? They didn't think they were ready to leave, or do you know why that was an issue?
I was never able to confirm with the house manager that that's what had happened, but Adrian had reported that the other resident that she was wanting to move out with was on a different path in her recovery journey, and that's what sparked the argument.
So mom had relapses after re-removal. During that time, did she have any no-shows to drug screens?
I believe so. I know she refused to drug screen for me, I believe in June or May of 2024.
And when's the last time mom had a hair follicle?
She had a hair follicle in October.
Okay. And was it negative, or did she still have stuff in her system at that point?
That hair follicle was negative.
Okay. So lately mom has been doing good on the drug use, is that correct? Or has been negative?
Yes.
Okay. Now is mom, under her service plans, mom's required to have stable living? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And in the last, so Xerxes was re-removed in February.
Yes.
And so up until now, it's been about 9 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
How many different places has mom lived in those 9 months?
2 that I know of.
Okay. Is it 2 or 3? Because you said she
Oh.
lived in an apartment complex?
3. Yes.
New beginnings
Apologies.
and now.
Yes.
What's the name of the sober living she's living in now?
The Beehive.
Okay. So 3 that you know of in 9 months.
Yes.
In your work as a caseworker, is that considered stable?
It is not.
Is mom working?
Yes.
Okay. And where is she working?
She's currently working at Buffalo Wild Wings as a server.
Okay. Has she now, during re-removal, you met her at Buffalo Wild Wings right before the removal?
I did.
Has she been at Buffalo Wild Wings this whole time?
No.
Where else has she, how many other jobs has she had in that time frame?
3
Okay.
that I know of.
And where were those?
She reported after she left Buffalo Wild Wings that she went to Sonic, and started working there again. And then she reported she was back at Buffalo Wild Wings again. And then she moved to, I believe it's Animal House, which is a restaurant there in Lubbock. And then she was back at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay. Is there any, when mom moves jobs, is there any space in between the jobs, or is she moves straight from one job to the next? Do you know?
Right after the re-removal, there was about a 2-week span, I believe, where she reported she had left one and then started working at another. But most often she will go from one straight into another.
So mom doesn't have an issue. She doesn't have an issue working. She has an issue keeping and staying at a job. Is that where we are right now?
Staying, yes. I'm not sure about keeping.
Well, that's what I mean, keeping a job or staying at a job.
Yes.
So, but while you worked on the case, mom's been pretty steady on her work. It just changes a lot.
Yes. Prior to reunification, mom had a single job for a good portion of the time. There was one time that she switched and was kind of doing something differently. But it was about a 3-week time span where she said that she had transferred back to Sonic.
Okay. Have you discussed some under mom's new service plans, and mom was asked to redo counseling, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We heard Mr. Gallen testify that he saw her twice and then had to discharge her for missing.
Yes.
Has mom completed counseling?
With Dr. Gatlin, no, but she is currently participating in an outpatient therapy program.
Okay. Do you know where she stands on that?
She was sporadic in some of her group therapy attendance, but she's still currently going through individual counseling.
But she is still not completed.
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Mr. Chad, I'm just gonna interrupt. Ms. Martinez, you really need to turn your video back on. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. How are visits with mom? What is her visits like?
They tend to go pretty well.
Okay. Is mom still having supervised visits?
She is. They are virtual.
Okay. And why is that? Why are they virtual?
Due to Xerxes being placed in the Houston area, it's just not feasible for us to bring them up there or for Adrian to travel all the way down there.
Okay. Have y'all been at, when was he moved there?
In July of 24.
Okay. Before that, between re-removal and him moving out of the area, were they having in-person visits?
They were.
And were those supervised?
Yes.
So at this time, and I know we've done a reunification and re-remove, but at this time, we're about 2.5 years into this case, correct?
Yes.
And mom is still on supervised visits.
Yes.
How is Xerxes doing?
He's doing really well.
Any issues?
Behaviorally,
Okay. Is he comfortable in his placement at this time?
he is.
Are there any other services that mom was supposed to complete from re-removal up to now that she has not done?
Other than stable environment, transportation, employment, and counseling, no.
So we're still, after this long in this case, we're still having issues with stability.
Yes.
And does that give you great concern with reuniting?
It does.
Are you asking the court today to terminate the parental rights of Adrian Martinez as to the child Xerxes?
I am.
And is that based on mom still hasn't completed services that she was asked at this time? The stability under the service plan, and mom having a deferred adjudication for an endangering and abandoning a child?
Yes.
And that incident is what led to this removal, is that correct?
It was.
And do you believe at this time, after having worked with the mother and the child for this amount of time, that that's in the best interest of the child?
Yes, I believe he deserves permanency.
I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
You're muted, Judge.
Sorry, Jody, are you good for a little bit longer? You need a break?
I'm good for a little while.
Judge, I could take a break real quick if I could.
Okay. All right, we'll break here and then we'll talk about lunch break.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
okay.
I just
We'll
need,
we'll take a short one here.
I was gonna say 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay. Ms. Naranjo, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Prater, regarding when the reunification happened the first time, counseling wasn't an issue at that point that prevented Xerxes from being placed with Ms. Martinez. Is that correct?
No.
Now, since Xerxes was removed from Ms. Martinez, since about August of this year, Ms. Martinez has been testing clean on drug screens. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in fact, the department had her submit to 3 separate drug screens, one in August, one in September, and one in October. Is that correct? And those were all negative.
They were.
Now, since about June, Ms. Martinez has been in some type of sober living facility. Is that correct?
Yes.
So she's been engaging in some type of drug treatment to address the concerns regarding her sobriety.
She has.
Now, the current placement that she's in, the sober living, is the Beehive recovery, correct?
Yes.
Now, for that Beehive recovery, is she required to do counseling there?
Yes.
And that's both group and individual?
Per her outpatient therapy, yes.
Okay. And is she also required to attend any kind of outside like AA or NA meetings?
Yes.
And she's also required to pay to be at that sober living, correct?
Yes.
And she pays about $1,200 a month to be there?
Yes.
Now, typically, in your experience, usually that $1,200 when she's out could be used to get an apartment, someplace to live, correct?
Yes.
Now, is she also subjected to random drug testing while she is at the sober living home?
Yes.
Now, being at the sober living home, does it help to address a lot of the concerns that the department has regarding Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Now, regarding Ms. Martinez's employment, you testified that Ms. Martinez has changed jobs quite a bit, but throughout this case, she's had some type of employment, correct?
Yes.
And outside of being in sober living homes, she's always had some type of residence that she's lived at, correct?
To my knowledge, yes.
So she's never been homeless or anything like that at any point.
Not that I know of. There is that span that where she was at. She did report that she was couch surfing with friends at that time.
Okay. Now, regarding the counseling, she is currently attending counseling. Did she also complete a psychosocial evaluation?
Twice, yes. One with Mr. Gatlin and one with her outpatient program, just per requirements of that facility.
And did she also complete rational behavior training?
She did.
And did she also complete a parenting class?
Yes. So she was offered one through her IOP, or her outpatient, I'm sorry, and has provided the certificate for that.
Okay. Now, regarding the OSAR, since she is in a sober living home and doing some kind of drug treatment, is that still a concern of the department's?
No.
So for the most part, Ms. Martinez, other than continuing to work on her sobriety, she's completed the majority of her services.
Yes.
Now, regarding Xerxes, Xerxes is currently placed in Katy, Texas, correct?
Yes.
And before that, he was placed closer in area to Ms. Martinez, is that correct?
Yes, he was placed about 30 minutes away.
And he was discharged from that placement due to concerns regarding sexual behaviors, correct?
Sexual behaviors and other behaviors as well, yes.
So to be clear, not everything was going well with Xerxes, and there were some issues, correct?
Yes.
Now, Xerxes has been in 4 different schools, is that correct?
Yes.
And this current placement that he's in, he's only been there for about 4 months, is that right?
Yes.
So what is the long-term placement for Xerxes? What's the plan for that?
I have asked Adrian if there's any other family that she's wanted me to consider. I'm normally pretty big on asking, is there any family that has popped up? And so she did tell me that she wants to consider her sister Amanda. I haven't been able to talk to my supervisor about reconsidering Amanda at this time because she did have placement of Xerxes for some point in time. But now that the oldest sister is moved out, I haven't had the opportunity to discuss that with my supervisor yet. But also there has been a legal risk referral sent out for Xerxes, but we don't have an option at this time.
And the current placement that he's in, would it be a permanent placement option for him?
No.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Novak?
Thank you, Judge. And just briefly, Ms. Prater, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So it seems like I'm shouting. I'm still working on my audio issues. I have my questions are going to seem like we've talked about this before. It's my understanding from your testimony that you've had 2 contacts with Mr. Rania since the inception of this case, correct?
Yes, Israel himself.
Okay. And the last contact you had with him was in October of 2023, correct?
Yes.
Throughout the course of the case, can you tell the court what you have done or what the department has done or what St. Francis has done to locate Mr. Renia?
Yes, we have run about 3 diligent or accurate searches to locate him. 2 out of those 3 indicated he was living in Muleshoe at the time. The one of them indicated he was living in Abilene. So we did request a local permanency specialist to go out to his alleged apartment. They were unable to make contact with him there. I have tried messaging him on social media, looking up his phone numbers through both the diligent searches and True People search. Those have all been unsuccessful. I've sent letters to his last mailing addresses, Facebook messages, things like that.
To your knowledge, has Mr. Renia completed any services?
Not that I know of.
I'm
I
sorry, Mr. Novak, I didn't hear the end of your question. I apologize.
My bad, Judge. And I've
No,
got my
no, it's
tech
okay.
guys on the way to help me with the audio issue. My question was, to your knowledge, Ms. Prater, has Mr. Renia completed any services that were ordered by the court?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You know, I think the very first order after adversary was that he was ordered to drug screen. Do you know whether he did that?
I don't believe he did.
Thank you so much, Amy. Judge, I pass the witness.
Ms. Zavala?
Ms. Prater, how old is Xerxes now?
He's 6.
And when he was 2 months old and that case started, would mom have to have worked services through that case?
Yes.
Would she had to show being clean for a while for that case to close?
Yes.
When he was removed in 2020, would she have had to work services then?
Yes.
Would she have to been clean for a while
Yes.
and be stable? And then in our case that started in 22, she would have had to be clean for a while for him to be placed back.
Yes.
So in the entirety of the 6 years that Xerxes has been alive, has there been a constant struggle between meth use and stability?
Yes.
Prior to Xerxes' birth, were there cases in 2015 and 2013 and even back to 2007 with meth and stability?
Yes.
And the last time that mom tested positive for well, let me back up. Did she have a positive test in March of this year?
Yes.
Did she have a positive test in April of this year?
Sorry, I'm not looking at that one. Yes.
And then she had a positive test in July of this year.
Objection,
Yeah.
Your Honor, that's hearsay. The one from July was not part of the business records affidavit. It only goes up to May, Your Honor.
Okay, just give me just a second. Mr. Trout, do you concur with that?
I would concur with that, Your Honor. We've also discussed the negative drug screens during that time period also too, Your Honor. So drug screens have been discussed throughout. But yes, that business records only goes up to May.
Okay.
And I would argue that if we're talking about all the non-business records, negative drug screens, that to complete the picture, all of them should be involved.
Your Honor, I would argue that they should have objected to those to preserve that issue in order to have said that those were hearsay. No one objected to that at all.
Well, but it does open the door. I'm going to overrule the objection. I think the door's been open to the drug testing during that period of time. It's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So you can answer the question.
Yes.
You've been working with Xerxes for about 1.5 years?
I have.
How often do you meet with him?
I meet with him at least monthly.
And have you met with him at every placement he's been at, including his mom's home?
Yes, since I've been his caseworker.
And you've met with him at his school?
Yes.
In the placements other than with mom, how is Xerxes?
Behavior-wise, he was doing pretty well up until the removal.
How would you describe just his personality when you come in and talk to him?
He's very goofy. He loves to make you laugh. He's basically a boy's boy. He's running circles around you, hanging from furniture, wanting to jump and play. He's very energetic.
How has his health been in every place other than mom's?
Pretty well, actually. There were a few instances where other people in the home would be sick with COVID or the flu, and Xerxes appeared to have a pretty strong immune system. He would not be sick at those placements. It was very rare for him to be sick.
And I want to be clear, you're not arguing that mom is responsible for him being sick, is that right?
No.
Okay. So when you would go and visit Xerxes during is it about a 2-month period that he was home with mom?
About 6 or 7 weeks, yes.
Okay. Compared to the bubbly, energetic, running around, what was Xerxes like every time you saw him with mom?
He was very calm, very still. The couple of visits that I had with him when he was first placed back in the home, he was a little cautious of me. He thought that I was there to come take him away. But towards the end, prior to removal, he still wasn't energetic, but he had opened up a little bit more.
Okay. Compared to the easygoing, running around, was he tired?
Yes.
What was he like at school?
He was pretty okay at school for the most part. Towards the end of his placement with mom, the teacher did tell me he was more easily agitated.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sustained.
Did the type of behavior that you saw from him in that 6 to 7 week period, did that seem to be his usual personality?
No.
Was that a positive change or a negative change?
It was negative.
You talked about going by several times unannounced. Is that just once or twice you went and they weren't home?
No, we were required to make about 3 attempts per week. Once it started becoming a bigger issue towards the 3rd visitation, we would try to call and schedule with Adrian.
Adrian had submitted a bunch of people that she wanted considered for, to help care for Xerxes, and some of those were denied, correct?
Yes.
And so they weren't supposed to be at the home around Xerxes,
Yes.
but on several occasions you found them there in the home?
The Mr. Tifola was in the home, but Xerxes was not present the first time. My LPS worker did observe him in the home a second time after that.
Was there some concern that you had come by so many times and she wasn't there, that maybe they weren't really living there?
Yes, that was a concern.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Were there ever any instances when Xerxes was taken up to Adrian's job late at night?
I'm sorry. I didn't understand the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were there ever times when Xerxes was taken up to Adrian's job late at night?
Taken up there, no, but getting off, yes.
Objection, Your Honor, lack of personal knowledge. She hasn't set up how she knows this information.
Okay, I'll sustain. You can, if you want to ask for more detail, then that's fine.
Okay. Was there ever concern about Xerxes having a regular bedtime?
Yes,
Did you discuss that with mom?
I did.
On one occasion or on multiple occasions?
Multiple.
What was mom's response?
Mom's response was very positive, very willing to accommodate.
Did it look like she then implemented that?
At that point, yes.
The, how many kids does mom have?
7, to my knowledge, I believe.
Did any of them grow up in her home?
Not that I know of.
You had mentioned a sister to Xerxes?
Yes.
And why was she not supposed to be around Xerxes?
There was CPS history for her where she was listed as the alleged perpetrator of sexual abuse.
That sister?
Yes.
Did you ever come to visit Xerxes with mom and have that sister be there?
My St. Francis worker did, yes.
I pass witness.
All right, Mr. Trout.
Just a few follow-up questions, Your Honor. Ms. Prater, I know we talked about stability in the job and living situation. Mom have transportation?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Does mom have transportation?
At this moment, she's getting rides from friends.
Okay. At one point, she had a car. What happened to that?
She reported to me that it was turned off due to non-payment.
And what do you mean turned off?
That the car lot that she purchased the vehicle from had computer wiring in there and had turned the vehicle off.
Okay. So it is not at mom's residence?
No.
Okay. And mom does not have access to it?
I believe she has access to the inside of it, but she's not able to use it.
Okay. And what is that due to? Do you know? Why did they turn it off? Did she tell you that?
Yes, she reported that she couldn't make the car payment that month.
Okay. Do you know how long that has been the situation?
She had her car in October, so it's only been about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. Now we've discussed a lot about mom's history and what has gone on in this case. Is relapse still a concern for you?
Yes.
And is that opinion based upon what you've seen in her past and through this case?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Noag asked about dad and whether dad ever drug screened for you. Did you talk to dad in June of 23?
October of 23.
Okay. In your report, did dad admit to you, I believe it was in June 22nd of 23, did dad admit to you of last methamphetamine use June 19th of 2023?
Oh, yes. Yes, he did.
Okay. So as of your, I guess, next to last contact with dad, he was admitting to still use.
Yes, in October of 23, he admitted that he had used that day.
Okay. I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mrs. Moronho, anything further?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Prater, you had testified earlier that you had visited Miss Martinez at the sober living placement about a week ago. Is that correct?
I saw her on Monday of this week.
Okay. And was everything like safe and appropriate at that area?
From what I could see, yes. There was very little furniture in the home. She did say she was working on getting a child lock for the side door outside of her kitchen, which leads to a concrete porch with a 3-foot drop that's not gated.
And other than that, were there any concerns about any kind of safety or any issues if a child was placed there?
No.
I'll pass witness.
Mr. Nowak?
No other questions, Judge. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
Are there, this sober living place that mom is now, are there other people living there or is it just mom?
There's other people living there.
Do you know how many other or anything about them?
I know some information about one, but other than that, I don't know how many or what their histories are.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Trout, anything further?
Nothing further at this time from Ms. Prater, Your Honor.
All right, let me just kind of get a lay in the land here. What other witnesses do you have, Mr. Trout?
I'll probably call mom real quick, Your Honor. Not just a whole lot far, but I'll call mom.
Okay. Let me just ask you all what you want to do. Would you all like to break for lunch for about maybe say 45 minutes right now, and then he can call mom, or do you all want to let him call mom and then break after that? Is that your last witness?
It should be my last witness unless I need to recall Ms. Prater for a couple of questions, but other than that, it should be my last witness, Your Honor.
Okay, and then Ms. Naranjo, what's your plan?
Miss Martinez is my witness, Your Honor.
Okay, so you may be calling her as well. All right, Mr. Nowak, any witnesses to call today?
It's tough going to trial without a client judge, but I don't anticipate calling any witnesses.
All right. Okay, Ms. Zavala.
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay, y'all tell me what you want to do. We can keep working. We can take a little bit of a break
My preference is later, but I'm good with whatever.
to take a break.
Well, yeah, my preference is to go ahead and get the testimony and then take a break, but I can do whichever.
Okay, I mean, all right. Jody, are you okay?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me, Judge, what we do.
All right. If Ms. Goodman's okay for a little bit,
I'm fine with that.
okay. All right, then. Ms. Martinez, you'll need to unmute for me and raise your right hand.
Oh, this way. Sorry.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Trotch, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Martinez, would you state your name for the record?
Adrian Martinez.
Okay, she's breaking up. Ms. Martinez, are you where you've got pretty good Wi-Fi?
Yes, ma'am. I have internet at the house.
Okay, that's better. I don't know why just a second ago it was all breaking up. So we'll try again. All right, Mr. Trout, go ahead.
Could you state your name again, Ms. Martinez?
Adrian Soto Martinez.
Okay. You've been here through the testimony today, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Throughout Xerxes' life, he's 6 now, just turned 6. He's either been in care or had CPS cases going on involving him for most of his life, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we've been in this case for about 2.5 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I understand you're in a sober living and you're working on things right now. But you've kind of been through this before, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. How long do you think Xerxes needs to wait for you to get straight?
Being an addict and working on what I'm supposed
I can't hear her.
to, you shouldn't have to wait.
I can't hear.
Okay. I guess let's try first, Ms. Martinez, is go ahead and turn your video off. Let's see if that helps.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Trout, I'm not sure if she heard your question or not.
Did you hear my question? You need me to ask it, re-ask it, Ms. Martinez?
Can you re-ask it, please?
Yes, ma'am. How long do you think it's fair to make Xerxes wait until you get straight?
He shouldn't have to wait.
Has he already waited long enough?
Yes, sir.
Jody, it kind of broke up on my end. Did you hear
Yeah,
that?
could you repeat your answer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think it's fair to him to keep him in this limbo while you go back and forth? Ms. Martinez, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Do you think it is fair to him to stay in limbo while you go back and forth?
I couldn't answer that for you.
You don't have an opinion on that?
Well, I think there's more than just that question for that opinion.
Um, Now you were incarcerated for a good bit of the beginning of this case. Is that correct?
7 months to be exact.
Okay. During your criminal cases, were you ever ordered to do ISF?
What's ISF?
Were you court ordered to do any type of drug treatment while you were incarcerated?
Just AAs that they had for us.
Okay. So you've never had to go to a facility for any type of inpatient that was court ordered?
I did outpatient because I wasn't able to work if I did inpatient.
Okay, and that was through probation?
Through probation, yes.
Okay. When was that?
What do you mean?
When did you do the IOP, the outpatient? Are you currently?
I'm doing it now.
Okay, so you were just recently required to do that.
Yes.
When was the last time you relapsed?
Up in July.
Okay, so 4 months ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was your relapse on?
Drinking and
Okay.
methamphetamines.
Okay. And who are you using with when you do that?
Myself.
Just at home by yourself?
Not at home, but by myself.
Okay. You're not with any friends?
I am, but I'm not to say like who it is.
Okay. So are these people that you normally associate with?
Not anymore.
Since when?
Since July.
Okay. So you're saying the last time you used was the last time you associated with these people?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what made you stop? What made you stop associating with them?
At the edge of being incarcerated, losing my son. He matters to me.
I understand. But we've been in this case for 2.5 years, and then the last 4 months you made that decision.
I made the decision a long time ago. It's really hard being an addict and being born as an addict and knowing this is an ongoing thing and you have to change your life wanting it the right way. So this is what I chose. And when I choose something, I strive for it. And I changed a lot of things here in my life to have my son. The rules here are very strict. There's nobody allowed in the house. I'm not allowed to date. And I have to keep going to my one-on-one counseling for my drug history. And I'm also on my medication.
Yeah.
And in order to be here, I have to do all of that.
When did you get back on your medication?
At the beginning of August.
Okay, so 2 years and 3 months in, you went into a program that makes you get back on your medication?
Oh, well, when I had Xerxes, I was on medication. Before that, they wouldn't give them back to me without it.
So did you only get on back on your medication so you could get him back?
I got on my medication because it helps keep me sober. It don't keep me sober, but it helps sustain me.
So do you have a history of getting on and off your medication?
Yes.
Okay. But you are aware that it helps you
Yes, sir.
and that you need it.
Yes.
And yet essentially throughout Xerxes' life, you've had a history of getting on and off your medications.
Yes.
How long is the program you're in right now?
As long as I need it.
Okay. How about the residents?
The residents, I can stay here as long as I pay my rent and I abide by all the rules and take my drug test randomly.
Um, I'll pass the witness right now, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Naranjo?
Ms. Martinez, you're currently at the Beehive Recovery, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been there since September?
Yes, ma'am.
And before that, were you at the Sober Living with New Beginnings?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so since about July, have you been in some type of sober living program?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at the Beehive Recovery, you're required to pay about $1,200 a month in rent. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. For a house to myself.
Now, so a house for yourself, so you don't live with anyone else in that residence?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
There's 3 separate houses, but I live alone in mine.
Okay, and when you mean like 3 separate houses, you mean kind of like duplex type deal?
There's boys that live in the front house and girls that live in the next house, and then the residence that I'm at, apartment C, is for myself.
So it's like a separate unit,
Yes, ma'am.
and no one else has access or key to that unit other than you?
Other than me and the owner to the Beehive.
Okay, so
To
no
do
one
random house checks.
other than the person who does the house checks, no one else lives there or comes to stay or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Now, you do have mandatory meetings with the Beehive, is that correct?
Yes, Monday all night from 5:30 to 9.
Okay, and at those meetings, is that to address like your drug issues and things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what have you learned from those meetings?
Being an addict is an ongoing thing, but there's a way to stay recovered as long as you work on it.
And are you working on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are you also required to attend AA or NA meetings outside of the Beehive program?
Yes, ma'am. 4 to be exact. They have to be out of the house meetings.
Okay, and have you been doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
How often are you attending those meetings?
I go 3 times during the week, and then do the one on Monday actually counts as a house meeting as well. So that's the 4th.
And what have you learned from these meetings?
You have to really want it to keep it.
And are you also with this subjected to random drug and breathalyzer testing?
Yes, every weekend we get breathalyzed for alcohol and random drug tests. They do it. Whoever gets picked has to do it
And if you fail these tests, can you get kicked out of the sober living?
automatically.
And have you been kicked out as of yet?
No.
Now, throughout this case, have you been having employment?
Yes.
And to be fair, it's been different employments, correct?
Yes.
Now, where are you currently working?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
And how long have you been working there?
Going on 2 months.
And before you were working at Buffalo Wild Wings, where were you working at?
At the farmhouse.
And how long were you working at the farmhouse?
About 3 weeks.
And before the farmhouse, where were you working?
At Sonic.
And how long did you work at Sonic?
I was assistant manager there for quite some time. I can't remember like the length, but
And why did you go back to working at Buffalo Wild Wings?
the money's so much better there. The support systems there is great. My managers really, really support me being sober.
Okay. Now you mentioned support system. What support system do you have there in Lubbock and with the sober living home?
I have Story. She's my sponsor. I also have Miss Kim. She's my one-on-one counselor because she really hits on, being a recovering addict. I also have support system here at the Beehive, being a house manager. And my sister's a part of my life again because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Do you have any other family to support you or any other friends?
I have my Aunt Laura, my Aunt Christina. I have a cousin up in Dallas. She's a big support system. She was there when Xerxes was born.
Now, are you currently engaging in counseling at the Beehive?
Yes.
Do you do individual and group counseling?
I do meeting with my sponsor once a week. So she's like, that's the thing we're supposed to require is meeting with our sponsor. And then I have my individual counseling on Fridays with Miss Kim through Grace Manor.
Okay, and what skills have you learned from doing the counseling?
Triggers and how to respond to them, how to get away from them, ask for help before it happens, and being a parent in recovery because it's different than just parenting.
Now, you testified earlier that you are back on your medication, correct?
Yes.
Why did you get back on your medication?
My medications help me. I have ADHD really bad. So like they help me slow down, let me think, process on what I'm supposed to be doing. I also take mood stabilizers. And then I take this one medication, and if you drink or drug on it, you will get really sick to your stomach and you'll have to show up at the ER. So they help me stay sober. They don't keep me sober, but they help me stay sober.
Now, why have you struggled with keeping on being on your medication?
Not admitting that I was an alcoholic or an addict.
And have you admitted now being over at the Beehive that you've had those issues?
Yes.
Now, you and I can both agree that you've had issues maintaining your sobriety throughout this case, correct?
Yes.
And as of now, have you been sober for about 3 months?
Yes.
Now, what's different this time than all the other times that you've gotten sober and then relapsed?
Every other time that I stayed sober, it's because I was rushed into staying sober because they were giving me time frames on how to handle my recovery. This time I know handling my recovery and doing my recovery is an ongoing thing, and it's something that I have to deal with every day. So dealing with my recovery, I choose to stay in sober living, and the Beehive offers to me to have my child in the program with me, and also branching out to show that being sober and having your child is possible.
And you're willing to engage with that help that the sober living at Beehive offers you, is that correct?
Yes.
And do you want to change permanently and long term?
Yes, I want to be how would you say, like for other people to see me doing it, and then maybe it'll progress for other women to be able to open up a sober living. So I'm just a spokesperson to want to do that for other people because it's worth having.
And do you have peers over at the sober living that are going through a similar situation as you as a support system as well?
Yes.
And do you have any support system as far as your faith or spirituality?
Yes, I believe in God, and at New Beginnings, that's one thing is we engage on. It's actually one of the 12 steps is actually the first one to admit that there's
And-
something higher than yourself.
And are you asking the court not to terminate your rights today?
Yes,
And do you believe it's in Xerxes' best interest that your rights not be terminated today?
yes, I do. Me and my son have a very strong relationship
And why do you believe it's in his best interest that your rights not be terminated?
because he's gonna think that he's not worth fighting for when he really is.
And are you asking today that the department be named as permanent managing conservator and that you be named possessory conservator? That way you can keep your rights and finish up the program at Sober Living.
Yes, I would like that very much.
And do you believe that's in Xerxes' best interest?
Yes,
And are you concerned right now that Xerxes does not have a long-term placement plan?
yes, I do.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Nowak.
Thank you so much, Judge. Just briefly, Ms. Martinez, my name is Vince Nowak, and I represent Israel Renya. Do you know who he is?
Yes, he's Xerxes' father.
Do you know where he is?
Last time I spoke to his sister, he was in Maelstrom.
When was that?
Last week.
When's the last time you talked to Mr. Renya?
He won't speak to me indirectly, but through his sister.
Did he know we were going to trial today?
Yes, I spoke to his sister so I could plead for him to come to court today.
And as far as you know, he didn't plan on coming to court?
No.
Did I hear you correctly earlier say that you have 7 children total?
Yes, I do.
And how many of those have you raised in your house?
Up to a certain age, till there were 10, about 4 of them.
Like, you know, most parents raise their kids from when they're born till they go away to get a job or go to college. That hadn't happened with you, right?
No, sir, divorce happened.
Okay, and you just testified that Xerxes is worth fighting for, correct?
Yes.
Now, this case was filed in July of 2022. You understand that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you used meth and abused alcohol 4 months ago, correct?
Yes.
When did you decide that Xerxes was worth fighting for?
Since the time that this case started,
You haven't fought very hard, have you?
I think I'm fighting very hard, 2.5 years worth.
Multiple positive drug tests, correct?
4 compared to all the negative.
Most recent use 4 months ago, correct?
Yes.
Pass the witness, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Zavala.
Ms. Martinez, is this your first time being involved with the Beehive program?
No, ma'am. When I first got out of incarceration, this is where I came to, was the Beehive.
Okay. So you've already worked this program once before?
The program for individual, yes.
I pass the witness.
Ms. Martinez, when you relapsed again in July, did you use with or in the presence of Mr. Reyna?
No, sir. No, ma'am. I'm sorry about that. No, Judge.
He was not present.
No, me and Israel really don't get along. because of the way he treated Xerxes, like when I was with him at the beginning. So I mean, we speak over the phone whenever I did talk to him, but I've never like seen him in person since. It's been a while.
Has he done anything to assist you or help you in your recovery mission?
No, ma'am.
Has he done anything to provide or to do anything to help Xerxes?
I mean, maybe once or twice he sent like $20 on Cash App. That's about it.
Okay. And at the time in July, where were you living?
Up in July, that's when I got my apartment taken away. So, I was living with my sister. She gave me a chance to live with her.
Okay. And from there you went to the first sober living place?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And then to the Beehive.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any kind of relapse with
No.
alcohol or anything since then?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Trout?
Yes, Your Honor. You stated, Ms. Martinez, that you've been living since July, you've been living in sober living homes, correct?
Yes, I went from New Beginnings over here to the Beehive because they offered me a better program with a child, like to live in my own home.
Okay. You also stated your last use was in July.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you living in the sober living home when you relapsed?
No, sir. That's where I moved from my sister's to a sober living because my sister was not having it.
Was not having what?
The relapse.
Okay. And by that, do you mean your sister's tired of the relapses?
She was not going to allow that in her home. She has children in her home as well.
So you were relapsing while you were around other people's children?
No, my nephews were not in the home. They were in Dallas. She was letting me stay at the house.
Now, why did you stop going to your counseling with Mr. Gatlin?
I felt like working was more important than going to counseling.
Okay. Tell me, how many people live? I know you said there's a women's house, a men's house, and then the home you live in at the Beehive. How many people live there total?
In the boys' house, I think there's 5, 2 in the women, and me by myself in the back house.
Okay, so about 8 people total.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How are these houses set up? Are they all in like a courtyard? Are they all on the same property? How are they set up?
They're all on the same property. So the house is a 2-story house. The boys live there.
Ms.
Visitors
Martinez?
are only in the front house.
I can't hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, you have to start over. It was breaking up again. So start over. Start your answer over.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. The boys' front house, it's a 2-story house. The boys live up there. Visitors are only allowed in the front house. That's where we have our meetings. The women's house, there's no visitors allowed there. And then here, there's no visitors whatsoever, all my children.
All right, I think you said that there are no visitors allowed at your house other than your children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now you stated you were subject to random alcohol and drug screening while you're in these programs. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You were also subject to random drug screening and alcohol screenings during your 2.5 years in this CPS case, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you tested positive during this case. You've had a lot of negatives, but you tested positive in this case. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've also no-showed drug screens during this case, correct?
Yes, sir. Once.
Do any of your sponsors or support group, do any of them have CPS history?
I know my sponsor does. She's got CPS history. She's also got 2 years clean.
Okay. Does she have any of her children?
She visits her child frequently. She's 14 and she does have a relationship with her now that she's sober.
Okay. But she doesn't have her in her care.
Her mother has custody of her.
Okay. When you used back in July, were you with any people that were in the sober living home?
No.
Do the people in the sober living home, are they in different phases of recovery?
Yes, all of us are in different phases.
Okay. So you may have somebody that just came in and used last week. Do you have anybody like
Yes.
that? Okay.
No, everybody's up in their phases at least, I think 2 months and more.
2 months or more?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you mentioned they gave you moved from New Beginnings to the Beehive because they offered you a better program to have your child. Isn't it correct?
Yes.
If Xerxes were to come to you, you would be the first person in the Beehive's program to ever have their child there.
Yes.
Okay. So this is not a set, stable program. This would be the first case of it if that were to happen.
It's stable enough to try this program. Yes, the Beehive has been around since 2015.
Okay. We're not looking for stable enough, are we?
What do you mean by that?
Well, we've been in this case for 2.5 years. You've had relapses. You've been on and off your mental health medications. You've had your own probation. You have criminal history. You've been in and out of jobs, in and out of living situations. Your transportation's in and out. You've been in and out of bad relationships. So we're not looking for stable enough. We're looking for a stable, permanent environment for Xerxes to be raised in, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Nowak asked you earlier about your other children. Have you ever been terminated on with any of your other children?
No, I gave up my rights for Amatil. She's a year older than Xerxes.
Okay. And when you say gave up, you signed relinquishments on that child?
Yes, I did because I was pregnant with Xerxes and they said if I would have got him relinquished, it would have hurt me with Xerxes keeping him.
Yeah.
And it was actually with Judge Baker, to be exact, I think.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Naranjo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Martinez, you stated earlier that when you were on the Beehive program, that the first time it was individual, right?
Yes.
What makes it different the second time?
Because it's allowing me to have a living environment with my child And when it was individual, it was only for myself. We were only allowed to like let children visit. We weren't allowed to keep them with us.
And to clarify with Mr. Trout asked you earlier about that this would be the first time ever that a kid's ever been placed at the Beehive. Has a kid previously ever been placed there before this opportunity for you potentially?
No, ma'am, this is the very first time. We're trying to see if we can branch it out.
And they're willing to try that with you?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Novak?
Just briefly, Judge, just to clarify something. Ms. Martinez, did you just testify that you relinquished your rights to the child that was approximately 1 year older than Xerxes?
I didn't have another choice.
Ma'am, my question is, did you relinquish your rights to the child that was 1 year older than Xerxes?
Yes.
And you did that thinking that might help you keep possession of Xerxes, correct?
That's what I was told.
You traded one kid for another, correct?
No.
Pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, then Mr. Trout?
Call Ms. Prater for one question, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Prater? You're still under oath, so you may proceed.
Ms. Prater, having been through this hearing today and heard all testimony, is your recommendation today still termination of the parental rights of both mother and father as to the child Xerxes?
It is.
And you do believe that's in the best interest of the child?
I do.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for Ms. Prater?
No, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Naranjo is shaking her head no. Ms. Zavala, I think, was shaking her head no, just so we have it on record.
I do not, Your Honor, have any further questions.
I don't either, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Trout?
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, does the department rest?
Department rest.
All right, then, Ms. Naranjo, are you going to recall your witness?
No, Your Honor, I'll rest as well.
Okay. All right, Mr. Novak?
Rest, Judge.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
I have no witnesses, I rest.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation to make?
I do, Your Honor. I do believe it would be in Xerxes' best interest for parental rights to be terminated at this time. I hope that mom gets clean, and I hope that this time works. But he's been through a whole lot in 6 years. And I think continuing to be in limbo is not in his best interest.
All right, thank you. All right, council, I need to digest this a little bit. So in lieu of keeping everybody here, I'll inform everybody about my ruling. No later than tomorrow morning sometime. And so, you know, I'll make a decision here pretty quickly, but I do want to just kind of review some things and think about some things. So Ms. Goodman, thank you very much. We will include that ruling to you as well, so that can be part of your record. So, all right. I appreciate everybody, and I will let you all know here fairly soon.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Your Honor,
Y'all
could
have
you,
good
could you
rest
put
of your day.
myself and Miss Prater and Miss Brown in a room together real quick?
Sure. Everybody else is free to go unless you need some other breakout rooms.
Thank you so much, Judge. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good one, Vince.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Judge.